Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LA probate expert, and I continually try to work and introduce to my crowd the leading people in real estate investment around the country. Really excited to have a lady who I met on a few different um, programs, who is coming to us today from Wichita Falls, Texas. Angel Williams. Angel, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. And Angel, real quick, the name of your organization is
Well, we got a couple. Our educational format, our educational platform is the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks.
the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks. And the reason why I kind of jumped on the opportunity to meet with you is I am an investor, but I don't really have any educational platform. I learned making a lot of mistakes and a lot of experience, and I have a particular niche, but I get asked all the time by clients who want to get started or increase their real estate investment, where can they go? And so I'm always on the lookout for somebody who has a good reputation and has been able to help people make those changes. So you don't have the good reputation part, but at least you have a fancy logo. So
Oh, wow.
just kidding. So Angel, give us a little background on you and where you grew up, and then how'd you get into real estate investing?
So actually my husband and I both grew up in families that were investing in real estate. So
Wow.
it was a very natural progression for us. My husband and I invested, well, we've been investing on the residential side for close, is it 2 decades? Gosh, it might be over that. Well, I take that back. We've been investing on our own since '03. So
Wow.
just under 20 years.
Wow. When you were about 6 years old, you started, it looks like.
Oh, you are way too nice.
So, so you grew up in it, and then, but at some point you went from just investing to kind of this organization as well as education. So how did that transition come about?
Um, things just happen sometimes. And we moved from residential to multifamily because we needed a way to scale faster. We've got 4 children. We had our son in 2010, and we knew something was not quite right. Um, and so he was beginning to get like early childhood intervention services from the time he was 3 months old. But we didn't have a formal diagnosis until he was 19 months old. And he's got a really rare genetic condition. It's known as Duke 15q. It doesn't have a cute name or anything. It's literally what it is. It's a duplication on the long arm of the 15th chromosome, in
Wow.
the Q section. So it's the same section as Prader-Willi and Angelman syndrome, but those are a little better known. So Anson's particular copies are 11.19q to 13.3q on the long arm of the 15th chromosome.
Wow. Well, as I never took biology, it sounds impressive. But
Well,
that means what? That you have more time that you need to spend on his medical or whatever, and therefore you need to make more money in less time, is what it sounds
um,
like to me.
yeah, well, that's kind of it. There's not a lot of research out there because there just aren't that many kids diagnosed with it. When he was first diagnosed, that would have been like 2012. There were 742 cases in the world.
Wow.
So there's not a lot of money to be put into something when so few people have air quote so few people are affected in the world.
Right.
Because if you are one of the people that is affected by it, then it is your world.
Of course. It's your
So
child, so of course it becomes everything.
yeah, and so that's really what led us to multifamily investing because of the scalability again. Because one of our ultimate goals is to have a foundation that's endowed for children with rare diseases, specifically Duke 15q, but just to help educate, support, and just help families that are in the same situation as we were. Because, I mean, really the only thing we can do is learn about it and educate about it because you can't change it right now.
Wow.
And I don't know. At one point, there was some research that they could turn off some kind of gene that would make autism symptoms not as severe. It was like a UBE3 or something like that. And my daughter, who's 14 now, at the time she was like 8. And I was so excited after I read that article. I was like, Julie Ann, you're never going to believe this. And she started crying, but she was like angry at me. And she was like, why do you want to change Anson? I love Anson just the way he is.
Oh,
And that was
wow.
a real gut check.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, so we have our why pretty clear. So from there, you start investing, and the format that you use today for your multifamily investing is Lorren Capital. So where's the name Lorren come from, and kind of give me an idea of what your focus on is
All
there?
right. So my husband's middle name is Lori. It's a family name. And so we took the first three letters of his middle name, Lor, and the first three letters of my middle name, which is Renee, and we came up with Lauren.
Very
And
cool.
the really cool thing about that is Jason and I had decided before we ever had children that all the boys were going to have his middle name and all the girls were going to have my middle name.
Wow.
And so that's just something that it's something that can have that generational impact.
And here's your cause. And I remember seeing the website. I didn't understand what this was about, so I just skipped it. I appreciate you sharing that with us and the deep story. So let's talk about the strategy. As an investor, what are you looking for, and what's that look like today?
Well, we thought we really knew. We thought it was like hour and a half from our home. We'll invest, that puts us in the DFW area. We can do that. It'll be great. Then we got our first deal on the active side, and it's like 15 minutes from our house. And it's not a slam dunk. It's not a home run. It's not any of those cool, sports terms. But it cash flows. And, we've personally been investing in this market for 15 years on the residential side. So we are very familiar with this market. We're very comfortable in this market. And getting spoiled to having your property 15 minutes away from the house. I mean, we'll
Beautiful.
probably always invest here because it's
Beautiful.
just super easy. The last one we looked at, 3.1 miles from the house.
Beautiful. So your criteria is you have to be able to walk from your house. Um, is this the property they have now, Iowa Park, Texas?
That's the last one we did. Yes.
Okay. And so, and how far was that from your house?
That one is 15 minutes from our house.
Oh my gosh. You packed lunch when you went to see it, or what?
Actually, there's this really awesome barbecue place right around the corner.
Okay. So you planned your lunch before. Nice pool. I'm a swimmer.
Mm.
Wow, nice pool.
Well, and it's really cute because if you look over there at the top, that's not a hot tub, that's a kiddie pool.
Nice.
And there's not a lot of places that still have that feature.
Nice. Nice for kids. Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, very nice. Nice amenities. Okay. So what was it about this project that attracted you when you got it? Obviously, there's other properties besides this one in
Um,
the area, but
it I got it on an SMS blast on my phone. And I was like, oh wow, this is here in our hometown. And on a whim, I just called the broker.
okay.
And it just worked. I don't know. We up until that point, we had just never called a broker. Um, and
As a
I,
broker, I'm offended by that.
I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, you know what? This is like a sign. This is what we're supposed to do. And I'm just going to call. What's the worst that could happen?
There you go.
And what was the worst that could happen? We went and toured it. We really liked it.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, we were awarded the property.
Wow. How exciting. So are you raising money for more properties now, or when people want to participate or like what you do and like your mission, or are you not so you're just investing for yourself at this point?
No, it's we raise money. We syndicate. But I guess it's more like we discovered that my side and my role on the team is really just relationships, period. Not necessarily investor relationships, not necessarily vendor relationships, but just relationships. And so it's kind of cool because I get to talk to everybody, which I want to do anyhow because I love to talk. But I get to talk to everybody now because
Nice.
it's my job. If I want to call it a job, air quoting again, because it's super fun. And I love meeting people and I love talking to people and hearing their stories and hearing why they're doing things.
Hmm.
Because if I know where they're coming from, it helps me when I'm trying to solidify that relationship or when I'm trying to connect that person to someone else.
Nice.
And
Very
so
nice.
that's one of the fun things.
So what is there a particular mission of the company at this point? You guys, you raising money for projects? You already have enough projects? You kind of digesting what you have? Where are you at in the process?
Um, Honestly, we're learning.
Okay.
We're learning what it takes for the capital raising part of it. I mean, I think that's always a work in progress. We did very well on our first capital raise. Jason and I raised right at $1 million on our first one. So we feel pretty good about that. And I feel like in the future, now that we've gotten, across the finish line, I feel like more people would be willing to help us out and come on to our team and be a part of the team and help us in future projects.
So let's talk about, when you talk about building a team, I guess one place is your academy is a place to kind of solicit people into that team. Tell me about the academy, how did that start and what does that look like today?
So I was a middle school teacher until February of 2020. And at that point in time, Jason are like, well, what can I do? Well, I can talk. And so I reached out to some friends and we started getting things in motion for doing a virtual summit. And in March of 2020, we held our very first ever 3-day virtual summit. It was the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks live summit. And it was a 3-day summit, very similar to what Dane Hamford does or used to do. He's going face to face now, but very similar to what he used to do. And for that first one, all the speakers were female. I didn't market it that way. It was just something that I felt like it would make an impact without me screaming it at the top of my lungs saying, hey, this is all women speakers because March is Women's History Month. And so I felt like I was able to do that without screaming it from the mountaintop. And the other thing it did too is it didn't limit the audience. I feel like too often when people see an event that is loaded up with women, they think, oh, this is for women only. And that's not how it is. I don't want to be seen as a female that's rocking it in the real estate investing space. I want to be seen as a person that's doing amazing in the real estate investing space because that's what I am. I'm a person, and I don't want to be seen strictly based on gender.
That said, I mean, I've coached real estate agents, not investors. I've talked to some investors, but I just know that in general, one of the challenges women face, it's not, I mean, you can argue about whether there's barriers that are real or not, but what's inarguable is that there are less women as mentors for young women coming up in almost every business. I have a daughter myself who understanding that has sought out and got good mentorship. But I know when I coach real estate agents, most women I've coached find it very hard to name a mentor or two in their life, whereas most men find that easier. Now, whether the men pay attention to the mentor or not, that's a different discussion. But I would say that I would find it very important, especially in real estate investing. It does skew to men. I mean, right? That's not news to you. So I think it's exciting that you have a woman who's taking a leadership role, an educational role. Um, I just interviewed the head of an organization, Women's Real Estate Investment Network, woman in my company who's got a network for women as well. Now, in their case, they invite men to come. The last place I'm going to go is to a woman. If the woman's in the title, for sure I'm not going to be there. I have a wife, I have a daughter. My wife has a female dog. I have enough estrogen in my life to begin with. But it is exciting to see a woman like you do so well. So to talk about that, and I'm sure along the way you have women who've come to you that need mentorship. What does that look like? What's that relationship look like for you?
Um, I know that everybody feels this way, but I have a hard time putting a value on what I do because it's not work to me.
Right.
It's just fun. I love it. I love helping people. And part of that is, I was in the public school situation and space, K through 12 education space I guess I was there for 17 years on and off. And so I come from, I've got the heart of a teacher and I love helping people. And so I have a hard time seeing myself as a mentor because I just want to help people. Don't, I mean, I don't think any person is different from anybody else. It's been an issue in different organizations because I don't see hierarchies of people. I see everybody pretty even. I don't give respect just because of your title. And that's just me. And so I've had people come to me and say, oh my gosh, will you be my mentor? And I'm like, I guess so, but can't we just be like friends? Because it's just odd to me.
Well, that said, though, there are women who need somebody to look ahead of them to confirm where they want to go, that they can get there. How do you? Is there a formal? I know there are. I guess I see you have like regular programming classes or whatever you want to call them, calls, Zoom calls, and such. What's the formal process of the academy look like?
Um, I guess it would just kind of depend. I work with some people one-on-one. And those are like just weekly meetings. We meet one-on-one once a week, maybe once every couple of weeks, and just really talk about, what that person is after. And this is where I think I might be just a little bit different, because there's a lot of people in the multifamily space that are like, oh my God, sell all of your residential, get rid of it. You need to be strictly multifamily. And I don't feel that way really at all, because after doing multifamily, man, single families are easy. And so I understand the comfort of wanting to do single families, because it's just you. You go in there, you look at it, maybe you look at the tax value, you look at what the ask is, and you just put a price out. So single family has become incredibly simple after doing multifamily. Um, I don't know what residential multifamily is like as far as acquiring it. I can assume what it's like running it. We have more than one single family home, but I understand the comfort of it, because it's just easier. You don't have a team relying on you. You don't have all of these people that you have to worry about what they're doing and making sure that everything is lining up. So I'm not going to chastise someone for wanting to stay in residential. I feel like people need to find what's comfortable to them, and like figure out what's going on in that space. And then if you want to branch out later, great. If you don't want to branch out later, I think that's okay too. I mean, my father-in-law, he did residential multi. He had a whole street with, quads and tris and duplexes on it. And he built up a little fortune doing that. And he never really, he thought about branching into other things, but he didn't. He was comfortable with those residential multis. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so I think that's kind of something that's a little bit different if someone's coming and talking to me, because I'm not going to tell somebody, oh my gosh, no, you have to do multifamily. You can't do anything else. Because if my grandparents had a little trailer park, they had a little quad, they had single families, they had a little bit of everything. Jason's family only did residential multis. We started out in single families. We had 6 single family homes. I mean, that was how we started. We were just like, this roll is so slow. So it really, I guess it depends on like, what's your goal and what are your ideas on getting there. And I believe that I could help someone regardless of their goal. And if I couldn't do it, I know I could find someone that could help that person.
Well, I think as a real estate broker, I think about a good chunk of real estate investors who are investors start with a property, meaning they have a home, they move out and rent it out,
Mhm.
or they inherit a home and become an investor that way. Very, very rarely does somebody start with a multifamily investment. So part of it is people start sometimes without being prepared or without a plan, and then they discover it's more than they thought it was. Well, most things in life are. So I think that's why it's important to have a mentor and follow a plan of what you're looking to do.
Absolutely.
So if somebody was interested in more information about the academy, how would they get in touch with you, or where would they what would the starting spot be?
Well, given the volatility of our website currently, unless you go through LorrenCapital.com,
Okay.
it's a hit or miss.
Okay. So
So
Lorren
I would
Capital.com.
I would say you can go to Lorren and get a hold of us, or I'm on Facebook. I'm Angel Renee on Facebook. We also have the Academy Presents REI Rocks community on Facebook, or I'm Angel Williams on LinkedIn, and I do answer all my messages.
How about that? Fantastic. Well, look, Angel, I've enjoyed, meeting you on several different, I think when you host and other ones that you don't, on multifamily, which is the area that I've become an investor in and do a little bit more as a probate agent in California don't really do it outside of California. But I really appreciate your energy and your smile and I think a positive attitude. And like I said, I'm always looking for people who can help others along the way. And I know you come from that servant heart. I recognize the teacher. My wife is a retired teacher as well. So I
Then you
recognize
should
that.
really enjoy the logo, because you might recognize it from something else.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do. I saw it right away. So it's like, okay, great. She's not the most creative girl in the world, but it seems to work. So
Hey, why am I going to recreate the wheel? Somebody else already created it, and it rolled just fine for a real long time.
exactly. I'm with you on that. Well, look, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in getting in touch with her, actually, it's on Facebook. They have the group, The Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, Angel Williams. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on LinkedIn, or I can get you there as well. Angel, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this.
Okay, bye-bye.